Hiya. So today we're going to be doing pickled beetroot, and I've got just under £4 in weight of beetroots of various sizes, from a sort of size of your thumb to a cricket ball sized one. But we're going to be boiling them all up together. So the ingredients for today's recipe is going to be 8 tablespoons of black pepper, just black peppercorns, 12 tablespoons of demerara sugar, 2 bottles of, pint bottles that is, of distilled malt vinegar, in fact 2.5 bottles because of the volumes that we're doing today, of distilled malt vinegar. And yeah, we're going to need 6 jars of glass jars, just empty, used glass jars, thoroughly cleaned and sterilised. The peppers, as I said before, we're going to put some, just a few chili flakes in there. Sugar, 12 tablespoons of the demerara sugar, and the malt vinegar. All right, and some Italian herbs and spices as well. Some Italian seasoning is going to go into the. That's all for the actual brine that we're going to be using. Oh, and salt as well. We need again 12 tablespoons of rock salt, Himalayan rock salt. We're going to be using 12 tablespoons of the sugar, and the 2.5 bottles of malt vinegar, 2.5 pints of malt vinegar. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. James is just inspecting the beetroots, ready for pulling some up. So if you just grab them by the bunch and then just give them a yank up, you're better with both hands really. Just get it around and then just give them a pull up. Oh, look at that one, it's a nice one.
There's thousands of them, but I'm looking for the bigger ones.
Well, look, they're all coming out, so we might as well just take the lot out.
They're on the other side.
So we'll get these beets up.
Take out all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them are small and some of them.
So here we've got about £4 of assorted beetroot, and we're going to pickle them up. But obviously, first of all, they'll need a bloody good wash. Step 1, wash the beets. Oh, so I've just thrown them into the washing bowl. I'm going to give them a good scrub now and make sure all the dirt is off them. And once I've done that, I'm going to rinse them then in cold water. That's a kind of lukewarm water that they're in. In fact, it's quite hot, that. It's quite hot water. Whoa, it's a bit too hot really, but I'm going to wash them thoroughly and then prepare for the next stage. Okay, see you shortly. Step 2, top and tail the beets. Okay, now they've been thoroughly washed and they've been topped and they've been tailed, but they haven't been skinned. You leave the skins on through the boiling process, which we're going to do next. So you've got to get yourself a nice big pan, fill it up with water, put in the beets and get it to the boil. Step 3, boil until tender. Alright, so we're at the boil now. And I'm going to add in all the beetroot. Steadily. And from this point, we'll let it get to the boil again. Give it 10 minutes and then test them with a fork just to see that they're soft all the way through. So I'll test the biggest beetroot. And yeah, if it's soft in the centre, then it's ready to go. It's cooked. Step 5. Prepare the brine. Okay, so now when we're waiting for the water to come to the boil in our big pan, hang on a minute, mate. I'm just re-washing the jars, so they're going to get another wash through in hot water, and they're going to be placed inside the microwave for 1.5 minutes to just ensure that we're killing all of the bugs away before we use them for our canning. Now the beetroots will take between 45 minutes and a full hour to boil. to a softness. Put your fork in, pull your fork out, soft, no hardness, then they're ready. Now, one really essential tip when you're decanting the vinegar from the bottles is, if you look at the top there, there's just a little tiny hole in the top of that. So, in with a steak knife. Can I do this? No, I don't think I can. Essentially, you draw that out with the steak knife. Otherwise, you turn it over and squeeze the bottle into the pan, and that comes blasting out and showers you in vinegar, as it's just done to me. It's been absolutely blasted with vinegar. So yeah, remove the stopper first from the vinegar. Right, so in a separate pan, we're just adding the vinegar in. It's, as I say, 2.5 pints of vinegar. And for every pint, you use 4 heaped tablespoons of the sugar, and the salt goes into this brine mix. So just for good luck, we've got 12 heaped tablespoons of the demerara sugar. And we're using Himalayan rock salt today, which looks like that, the pink salt. That goes into there. So there's actually probably just over 2.5 pints of the vinegar, 12 heaped tablespoons each of the salt and the sugar. That's going into there. We're going to bring that up to the boil and then simmer it. I don't know what that black thing is, but it's coming out. We're going to simmer that until everything dissolves. Okay. The beets are boiling away there. They've been in for 6 minutes now. So by the time that gets to the boil and starts to dissolve, the beets will be ready for testing for softness. So into the jars, and just to taste really, you've got the mixed herbs, black peppercorns, chili flakes and the turmeric. I'm going to be putting into one of these jars, which is probably about a 350 milliliter jar. Teaspoon, heaped teaspoon of the turmeric, level teaspoon of the chili flakes, tablespoon of the peppers, level tablespoons these are, of the peppers and the mixed herbs. So I'm going to do that in the bigger jars, a little bit more in this one, probably half as much again as I've just mentioned there. But they're going to go into the bases of these 5 jars. I think we've got 6 actually, haven't we, jars wise? We've got a big one as well. So that's going to be probably a triple up, because that's going to contain about a litre's worth of beets. So yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do it by eye and just get those herbs and spices in there. Step 6, slice your beets and jar them up. Okay, so all the herbs and spices are in the jars. I've got my little chopping board there. I'm going to chop, dice, slice and add in our beets. So I've drained the beetroot, and there they all are. Now with the remaining juice that's in there, I'm going to drink that. Not because I'm a dirty bugger, but because it's very, very healthy and nutritious for you. It's excellent beetroot juice. Get on it. I nearly forgot, at this stage the skin, which is on the beetroot, will just rub off. Like that. Dead easy. So, yeah, we can skin them at this stage as well, because you don't really particularly, not going to kill you the skin, but it's nicer when they are skinned. So it just rubs off dead easy. You get nice pink fingers as well at the end. You look like you've been in a Game of Thrones episode. But that's the next step, just to skin them and slice them. Right. Now, because we've eaten 4 or 5 of the beets, we're short. In fact, we're quite short, because I've got that big jar as well. Luckily, we've got more beets. So I'm going to boil them up. I'm going to boil them up, leaving the stems and the roots on. You don't tend to lose as much of the dark red juice doing that, but I'll just show you. This is not Jack Daniels. It's my beetroot juice. So I've got about another 4 or 5, I think, beetroots, and these are of various sizes, as you can see, because they're all from the plot. And we're going to get those thrown in. We'll get another mix on the go. We'll do that now, but I'm going to add in the brine to these. It's just cooling down now, the brine. So once that's cooled, I'll add that in. But by the time these have boiled up, the brine will be cool. I've sliced these as medallions. I've done them as with the little ones. I've just put the little ones in as they are, obviously with the skins off. I've diced them, sliced them, whichever way you want to do it. Really, the world is your oyster. Catch you in a bit. So there's our next batch boiling away merrily. Whew. There's the brine, nice and cool. So all I'll need to do now is, I've decanted it into the Pyrex jug there, and all I'm going to do now is, hopefully, without spilling any of it, decant further into there. And you want it quite close to the top, as you can see there. In fact, I want to put it up right now. As long as all the beets are covered, you should be alright. Because these are going to be in the fridge. I'll tighten that on as grippy tight as I can. I'll do it with 2 hands in a minute. But I'm going to fill all that up with the brine, and we should be laughing. Now, so all the herbs and spices get mixed in. I've tightened these on really hand grip tight. And I'm going to make sure that it all gets a good coating of the herb and spice mix. Like so. I'll do that with the rest of them. I have got some brine left there, but I'm going to have to make some more for when the big fresh pan of beets are ready. So yeah, that's essentially it. I'm going to label them up with the date and what they are, and they'll keep in the fridge until Christmas. I'll guarantee that. As soon as you've opened them, though, you've only got about a week to eat them. But as long as they remain in their jars, in their brine, right filled up to the top, clean jars, they'll be fine. They'll be fine for a good 6 months. They'll take us into the new year, those. But I doubt very much that they'll last that long. I'll show you the pickles that I did last week. So those are the pickles that I did last week, and the cucumbers. Dill and garlic cucumber. Oh. Oh, they're lovely. They're lovely, them. They are nice. Very, very nice. I hope I'm in sync. Sometimes when I film back to front, like this, it goes out of sync. But I'm going to have a little bit more of that. Another pickle. So good. It's like a really fancy delicatessen pickle. With the dill and the garlic, and because there's a little bit of spice in there, in the form of the chili flakes. Excuse me. You get that heat coming through. You also get the sweetness because the sugar is in there. Oh, it's just good. It's just nice. Really crisp as well. The pickles that you do and the pickling that you do in the fridge, you leave the jars in the fridge, keeps that crispness and that freshness. Always welcome. Right, okay. That's the end of this little episode now. Next up, because the weather's so bad, we're going to do another cooking show, and it'll be Viking lobbies. So if you were a Viking and you lived in Lancashire or Cheshire, this is what you would be eating. It's a modern twist on the traditional loopscouse or lobscouse, which is the Scandinavian recipe, Norwegian, I think. The Norwegians, the Danes, the Vikings essentially used to eat this lamb dish, which is a lamb casserole dish back in the day, but I'm going to have potatoes in it. Back then, believe it or not, boys and girls, back in the sort of like 10th and 11th century, they wouldn't have potatoes because they were only in South America. And they wouldn't have been discovered. Now, the Vikings, they did land in America about 800 years ago, I believe, but that was North America, where at that time there were no potatoes. So, but we're going to do it with a bit of a potato additive. But you'll see that on the next show. All the root vegetables and the lamb. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoy the next one. I'll put the link to the pickle recipe down below, so you can have a look at that as well. All right, boys and girls, it's been good seeing you. And if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. This has been Guru Mafinda. You've been fantastic as always. And remember, mwah, we love you all. Tatty bye, boys and girls. Have a good one.